2023 is coming to a close, and now it is time to talk about 10 of my favorite films that I deem, in my opinion, the best of 2023.
Well, good for you, you're wrong.
Let's talk about it. My name is Joseph Curtis, and if you love movies just as much as me, you have come to the right place. Now do me a huge solid and click that like and subscribe button. Also, if you want to follow me on the following social platforms, that would be great as well. Now, let's start talking about my personal favorite movies of 2023. Now, before I get into my top 10, I want to mention a couple movies that I found to be quite as good and just didn't hit the top 10 for me. Saltburn, Wonka, The Holdovers, Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning, Part 1, Past Lives. My number 10 of this year is The Creator. The Creator, in my opinion, is the most underrated film of 2023. I truly stand by that statement. It is a film that left me impacted, not just by the amazing visuals and what Gareth Edwards was able to do, but do yourself a favor and watch a movie that not only talks about AI, but what it means to be a hero, and the biggest topic of all, colonization. It's truly a remarkable film. Number 9 is Barbie. It's a cultural phenomenon. It just is. This is a movie people will look back and say things like, I'm just Ken, or Barbenheimer. It's a piece of entertainment that had no means being this good. But it wasn't just good, it was freaking great. Number 8 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It's a perfect conclusion. What else can I say? James Gunn had full reins to do, I'm assuming, whatever he wanted. Obviously some whispers, some notes from the great Kevin Feige, but you can clearly tell this man had a vision from the very first film to the second, and now here for the third. This is the greatest MCU trilogy, and with a film like this, it not only displays the same heartbeat from the previous ones, it shatters your heart altogether and lifts it up completely satisfying. Number 7 is Talk to Me. Talk to Me is not just the scariest movie I've seen this year, it's the most inspiring. YouTubers made this. Something like that sentence gives me hope that one day I'll be able to step into this field, because it is a dream and passion of mine to make a movie one day. I'm actually working on a script, a very, very, very low-key script, but moments where I find doubt, where I'm like, this will never see the light of day. Hearing news like this and that it's one of the best successes for A24, that truly gives me hope. This movie has the scares, but also a tragic story that concluded with my jaw to the floor. Do not miss this. Number 6 is Killers of the Flower Moon. You got Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro, and Martin Scorsese reunited for a film that has one of the best performances of the year. I'm talking about Lily Gladstone. Incredible, breathtaking performance. Love her in this movie. It's also shocking how the story isn't really common knowledge in our history, and it should be. It's not an easy watch, but a necessary one. Speaking of a necessary watch, number 5 is Oppenheimer, a movie that is 3 hours long with no action sequences, that is a film that really about the creation of the atomic bomb through conversations. And that sounds not that interesting, honestly, at first glance. It's like, I'd rather just watch a documentary, I guess. But then you hear 2 words, Christopher Nolan. He is the only man for this job that could find a way through dramatic performances and sequences and captivating visuals, with also the best score by Ludwig. He completely blew me away. Not just because it's a beautiful film to look at, but it's one that feels epic. It feels personal, and it feels like something that is still affecting us today with this story. Speaking of World War II, number 4, Godzilla -1. This is not just a great monster film, it's a great film, period. It uses post-World War II Japan as the backdrop for a Godzilla film. It's genius, with characters that we are absolutely in love with. It's the first time in a Godzilla film where I actually wanted freaking Godzilla to die. Number 3 is The Iron Claw. The Iron Claw is a true story. That is the definition of tragedy. The Von Erich story is one to not forget, especially after watching the career best performance from Zac Efron, who shows a performance, guys, that is just wildly human and vulnerable. Yes, it's about wrestling, but really it's a story about toxic masculinity and how far a dream can become too much. Just know that the reason why I placed it in this order for 2 and 1, because one film felt complete, and the other one, even though it's still great and it's still satisfying, is not technically a whole film. But I loved it this much that I placed it for my number 2, which is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. This movie is an achievement. Everything from the colors, animation, music, action, pacing, it's just sheer perfection with a story that's not even complete, but by the time you get to the ending, you don't even care because it's that freaking satisfying. Guys, at the end of the day, I'm okay with part 1, part 2 stuff as long as the films feel satisfying, and that's what Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse did. It left me satisfied. This is the best movie of 2023. I'm talking about John Wick Chapter 4. This movie has some of the greatest action sequences I've ever seen in my life, but I believe that this movie isn't just the best movie of 2023 for action, even though that is a huge reason. It's because it feels like a fully concluded series. It feels like the same heartbeat that we got from John Wick Chapter 1 when it started with the death of his wife and the death of an innocent dog. You feel that motivation from Chapter 1, 2, 3, and now 4, where you are just blown away, not just because the amazing choreography, the amazing cinematography, the hilarious performances, the great performances, but it's the characters. That's the reason why we love these films. I know that there might be a John Wick Chapter 5. I almost don't blame the studio because it was a phenomenal success, both critically and audience-wise and financially, but there's gotta be a point where you realize this is the ending. This is the definitive ending. And even if we get a John Wick Chapter 5, to me, I truly believe that this is the canon ending. I think this is the way that Keanu Reeves wanted this series, wanted this character to go out in a spectacular fashion. I want to know and I want to talk to you guys. I want to see where are we similar or are we different? That's the unique thing about YouTube. That's the unique thing about film and cinema is that it's subjective and we all have different opinions. And no opinion is the right opinion. But be on the lookout for my top 10 worst, probably coming out in a day or two from now. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Do me a favor, click that like and subscribe button. But most importantly, before this year ends, don't forget to be blessed.